Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to opening night of Overlord Prowler's Round Robin. This is GMA Gaming coming at you with another formal event. We're going to have 6 weeks of a round robin tournament between 6 teams. At the end of that time, we'll have a finals between the top 2 in the standings. Very simple format. Hopefully, it'll be easy for all of you to follow along for the next 2 months or so. We'd be happy to have you along for the ride. I'm Jeff, joined in his casting debut by Gregorsaurus Rex. How you doing, brother?
Not too shabby. Really excited to be on this side of everything. It's a change of pace. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I imagine so, but it's generally takes less of a time commitment to just sit here and get to criticize other people, so that's always fun.
I spend a lot
Um,
of time talking about League anyway. Why not? Why not do it on the broadcast?
Well, starting things off tonight, as I mentioned, we've got 6 teams, so using some quick division there, we can tell you we'll have 3 matches. It's all best of ones this time around, no best of twos, no best of threes. We're just going to have single matches between the 3 pairs of teams up until finals in 6 weeks from now. So starting things off, we'll have Team Phoenix, I believe, taking on Gale Force.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking about with this matchup?
This is going to be an interesting one. This Team Phoenix team is interesting to me because it's a few new names or names that I'm not as familiar with, and then it's a few names that are coming back from way back in earlier splits of GMA, LCUS, whatever you want to call it. So I'm curious to see how that all gels together. It's a similar story to some extent on the other side for Gale Force as well. Green, brand new player. Call a spade, he's highly ranked. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he slots in and how he compares to everybody else in the mid lane.
Yeah, especially that mid lane matchup is going to be interesting because, yeah, we've got Primidon coming back. It's been many years
Mm-hmm.
since we've seen this guy in one of our events, but always been rock solid. We'll see if there's any rust. I have seen him online quite a bit more the last couple months or so, so I assume he's going to be able to step right back in. But, yeah, like you said, he's going right to the head of the class, taking on the biggest kid, it looks like, in terms of ranking.
Mm-hmm.
I think that looks like all our players are set to go, so we'll get into champ select here.
Sounds good to me.
Any other particular lane matchups or anything like that that you're focused on for this first matchup?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Foeden versus Godzilla matchup in the top lane. These are two behemoths as far as top laners go. I'm really curious to see these guys slug it out and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I agree. Foeden, in particular, I think he's only played one split with us, but I remember him being an absolute force to be reckoned with. And first ban is not too surprising there, Belveth, newest champion. That's very inconvenient since I just took a bunch of notes about this champion to make sure that I knew what I was talking about. But that's fine. Belveth off the table right away. Not sure if that was aimed at anyone in particular or if maybe they just don't want to deal with the new champion. Shen coming back on the other side. I think that is a Foeden special.
I agree, and Shen is such a dangerous champion to deal with if you leave it up, because the global pressure is just so obnoxious to deal with. It's probably a good ban, I would say, for them to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's just very flexible. I'm not sure if there's the Wukong ban as well. You were talking about Godzilla. I think that's pretty
Yep.
much his signature pick. So
Mm-hmm.
not surprised at all to see that go away. The other thing with Shen, I'm not sure if it's really played too much in the support role anymore, but it is capable of being a flex pick, which is obviously very valuable in champion select.
Absolutely. We see a Jinx ban coming across as well, too. I'm not as familiar with Uga Booga Queen and Giovanni Yogurt and their champion pools, so it sounds like both of these teams have done their fair share of scouting.
Yeah, I believe, Jinx is by far Ooga Booga Queen's most played champion, at
Mm.
least this season, from what I'm looking at right now. So not surprising to see that. Also just a very potent champion. Can absolutely just 1v9 a game if the circumstances play out correctly. Ashe banned away as well, so that really reliable AD carry engage will not be coming out. And Seraphine, that's one I'm
That's at
not too
Alpha.
surprised to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Uh, I've
well,
seen
no, it was
Alpha. Oh, sorry,
Gale
no,
Force that banned it.
they banned it. You're right. You're right. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that's at Primidon because he actually plays that mid lane a decent amount.
Oh, I
And so Lucian first
Lucian.
pick.
That tells me very little as far as what their game plan is here.
I think that that's a little bit of a takeaway from Burn the Heretic. I believe that's a champion that he really enjoys playing. So probably taking that away, and at the same time, I would assume Ooga Booga Queen is quite comfortable on it for them to first pick it. Or who knows, we might see it flex somewhere else.
I was about to say,
Timer went
hopefully
all
they
the way
pick.
down there.
Please lock.
Yeah, hopefully
Please
that
lock.
that was hopefully we don't have to remake or anything here.
Hmm.
Godzilla picking up the Varus. I would assume that's going down to the bot lane as well, but gosh, these days you don't even really know.
That's true. That's very true. And again, like it's been so long since we had a split or an event like this for GMA that it's really hard for me to tell. Just because I know what the Zach for Sladen is not surprising to me.
Yeah, of course.
But what I was going to say is I don't know. Obviously, champion pools change and what people like to play changes. And with so much time in between splits and between events, it's really hard to predict what everyone's going to be picking, at least until we have a couple more weeks under our belt here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Ooga Booga Queen and Giovanni Yogurt, newcomers here. A lot of other familiar names, but you're seeing, people in different positions than we've seen before, like Alpha in the support role. So it's going to be fun to sort of learn as we go, who these players are in their particular roles, their play styles,
Mm-hmm.
who's gotten better, maybe who's gotten worse. We'll try not to harp on that too much, but.
So I do remember Prim Eden and Malzahar were old friends, so I'm not too shocked to see that. It's a very safe pick with a lot of control in the mid lane. I'm also very the Nami Lucian bot lane. Alpha and Burn the Heretic are now officially on notice. That is a very very scary bot lane to deal with.
Yeah, Nami is just can be so oppressive to play against with the sustain, the counter engage or disengage, excuse me. Um, so yeah, that's going to be tough. Zoe picked up for green, I
That's
assume in the mid lane. That's a little scary.
I
I
was,
don't know if I like the idea of playing against a Diamond 2 Zoe.
I don't like the idea of playing against a Zoe at all, much less one that
Sure.
is played by somebody who is very very good and much better at the game than I am. Curious to see the
Yeah,
Pike ban. I don't know who's been practicing that. Um,
I would assume that's aimed at Alpha. I don't think that you can really pull a Great Beard of Odin to do a throwback and take that up to the top lane or anything like some people used to do.
yeah, I mean,
Mordekaiser and a Mumu band away.
interesting on the Amumu as well, since we're pretty sure the Zac is going to be in the jungle. I'm not sure what that's directed at. I suppose Amumu support's not really meta anymore, but it would be a very strong engage tool.
Never pick a fight you can't win.
Yeah, I assume that, Phoenix, they haven't picked their jungler yet, so they were probably worried about that coming out in the jungle. But
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm a little surprised to see them letting the Volibear through. I feel like that's always been one of MixLink's most reliable champions. Checked up on his OPGG just a second ago, and it looks like he still plays it. Maybe not a ton, but still something that he plays, and I think it would fit well into this comp because I do think they need some beef in the front.
And we see now a Morgana being locked in. So GMA and Morganas. Name a more
boy,
iconic duo.
Let's talk about Morgana for the next 40 minutes.
How much time do you have? Talk for more than that if you'd like.
So Morgana Varus down on the bot lane. I mean, that's a pretty potentially potent combination. I mean, you can be rooted for about 5 seconds straight if you get hit by one thing down there. Kled picked up for Foe Eden up in the top lane. That's a champion that I think he's quite proficient on, so they'll be happy to have that engage.
Yeah, that's scary, and it's probably smart for Gale Force to hold off on their top lane pick to see what Foe Eden was going to bring out here. I don't know what's they're going to choose into Kled. Kled is hard to deal with. I will also point out I am concerned about this bot lane a little bit for Gale Force. The Varus and Morgana, while they do a lot of poke damage and they're scary, they don't have any way to sustain through the Nami Lucian and the poke that they're going to provide. And the Nami obviously has plenty of sustain, so I'm really curious to see how this plays out down the stretch.
Yeah, it'll be. I think that Burn the Heretic and Alpha are going to have to use their range advantage because Lucian, is a short range champion. He has to get sort of up in your face in order to really deal damage. And Varus obviously one of the best poke champions. out there that you can bring in the bot lane. So I'm wondering if Burn the Heretic and Alpha can do their best to just keep their distance, avoid, letting Lucian get that really quick spell weaving in, which can just chunk you so quickly. But at the same time, the Nami, as you said, is gonna sort of counter that poke by healing the Lucian right back up. Sejuani was picked up for Mixlink in the jungle, so they do end up bringing quite a bit of tankiness on those last 2 picks. I'm wondering if they might lack a little damage, though, in this comp.
I would, unless the Kled gets very far ahead, I would say that's a very strong possibility. I mean, they have the ability to lock down and absolutely murder one person with the Malzahar, Sedge, and Kled ult, but if they can't burst that target fast enough, or if there's an additional threat, I don't know if it's going to be enough to push through. I guess we'll find out.
And also, Godzilla picking up the Malphite for the last pick of the draft. I think that's just sort of a safe pick. You're into the Kled, physical damage, so Malphite, obviously, in general, just very, very sturdy against physical damage dealers and brings you quite a bit of engage. Between Malphite and Zac, I mean, that's a ton of long-range engage to get in there. And so Giovanni is going to have his work cut out for him to disengage from those kinds of abilities.
Absolutely. I feel like the Malphite pick here is a bit of a... I mean, let's call a spade, right? I feel like it's a bit of a surrendered lane, in quotes. You're not going to... You're probably... I shouldn't say you're not going to. You're probably not going to solo kill a Kled on a Malphite. Let's just, be honest here. That said, like you said, the synergy between Zac and Malphite, that's really frightening to deal with, and especially since you're going to have, Sleepy Trouble Bubbles coming over the wall, Morgana Q's over the wall, Varus Q's over the wall. It's going to be tricky to contend with, I think.
Absolutely. So looking at these drafts right now, let me just hear from you. Whose draft do you like better overall?
I'm a big fan of the Wombo combos, so I'm going to have to give it to the Gale Force lineup here. I think, even though I do worry about this bot lane being able to endure through the really obnoxious Lucian Nami bot lane, I think the point you made earlier about perhaps Phoenix not having quite enough damage to push through it, I think that's a valid concern. And unless specific people on their team get far enough ahead, I don't know if they're going to be able to fully close it out.
Yeah, I was wondering about, I made that comment about them potentially not having enough damage before I even saw the Malphite pick. And if you look over at Team Phoenix's lineup, they, other than Malzahar, it's pretty much no magic damage. You don't even really have a like semi-magic damage dealer, like say a Bruiser in the jungle or something like that, or a support Xerath or a support Brand. So if Godzilla can survive that early game, get to a really tanky state, I don't know if Ooga Booga Queen and Foeden can do enough to cut through him.
The one thing I would be curious to see is how this Varus decides to build. If you build him like a conventional AD carry, then he'll be able to deal with the tankier folks on the other team like Sejuani and Kled. But if you build him more to just do the poke damage, I have concerns that they may actually be damage light on the opposite end of things as well. So it'll be curious to see how they do it.
Absolutely agree with that. As a former AD carry player, I would lean towards going traditional AD carry here. Get that, be able to shred through those tanks, because, yeah, if your only damage really is Zoe and Varus, I mean, you're really depending on just landing those skill shots on the right targets at the right moments.
Absolutely.
Well, we are finally through that spectator delay, folks, so we're into loading screen. See some cool skins, guys. No Nami skin, no Kled skin, no Malphite skin. Ugh. People just don't want to give 10-cent money, I guess.
That load screen took a long time to come up, but there it is.
Wow, and then it went away quite quickly. Alright, so we are into game, folks. First match of Overlord Prowler's round robin. Welcome to Summer 2022 of GMA League of Legends. Tons of pings coming out early on. Looks like nobody's going for anything in terms of a group play, at least. 5-point spread from Team Phoenix on the blue side. Similar on the red side, although Sladen slow out of the gate. So please report.
So you're gonna have to cast this one radio style because my game did not launch.
All right. Well, hey, shout out to one of our former casters, Sig Lord. I don't know if anyone remembers, but we had a similar technical issue quite a while back, and one of the funniest things was him basically just narrating the game for our Twitch audience. That was a unique one for sure, but shout out to him for that.
All right, I think we're live now.
Yeah, just continue to paint y'all a word picture. 5-point defense from Gale Force on the red side. Looks like everyone's just happy to stay on their side of the river. No deep vision even put down for anyone. And it looks like both junglers will be starting on their respective bottom sides.
What's your timer at, just so I make sure I'm synced up with you?
I'm at 127 right now.
Okay, it's close. It's within a second.
Cool. And yep, everybody just kind of chilling. Very standard start to this game. No excitement yet. First paddle star misses from green, so clearly boosted.
Apologies about the sound. Got that figured out as well.
Do you have any hunches on where you expect these junglers to maybe try to make plays early on?
If I was Mixlink, I would prioritize going up top and getting Prim Eden rolling. Or sorry, not Prim Eden, Foe Eden rolling. Just because I feel like a runaway Kled is a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, I think that absolutely makes sense.
For Sladen, I would actually probably go for the spot side. Try to get them as much of a lead as they can. Although Green...
Yeah.
Green is running away with it at the moment.
He heard me talking about that first missed paddle star. I don't think he's missed anything since. Primudin not having a great time in his return to our events, but Ismail Zahar will get that spell shield back up, so that gives him a nice little bit of extra security.
Yeah, that's
Green
a tough
is running
matchup.
that ignite though. Yeah,
That's
Green
really
is running
tough.
that ignite as well, so becomes even more scary.
So I'm actually surprised at how evenly this top lane is going. I would have thought that Malphite wouldn't have quite the ability to push back, but evidently I'm wrong about that. That's why I don't play top.
Yeah, I'm wondering also if Foe Eden is trying to let him push to, as you mentioned, maybe set up Mixlink to have an opportunity to head up there shortly. Clearing through his top side camps right now, so he's still, assuming he grabs blue, he won't be up there for another minute or so, so this wave will crash.
That is a
Foe Eden's
huge
done
wave,
a nice
too.
job setting it up, though.
Yeah.
Should be able to grab pretty much all of these.
That is a massive wave, too. Let's see how well he farms it under the turret here.
Yeah, and if I'm Sladen, I think that, you know, you have to be aware of exactly what you said, that Mixlink might prioritize this top lane, and he is in position to be able to counter gank if something comes up. Godzilla dropping, oh, I think he just picked up the crab actually, and Mixlink crossing over mid lane, going back down to the bot side. So there will not be action at least initiated by him on this top side. Looks like he's looking bot, trying to get that scuttle crab, but nice push from Burn the Heretic, and Alpha means that they're going to be able to roam up, and I think that, yeah, it's going to be tough for Mixlink to get this at this point.
Yeah, he looks like he's eyeing up mid. Oh, wow.
In the mid lane, Green taking down Primudin. Flash still up, actually, for Primudin, but dies with it. Binding in the bot lane, there's action going on in a lot of spots right now. Burn the Heretic is pretty low, gets hit by the Aqua Prison. That's a lot of trouble. Exhausted, but it's not going to be enough. Ooga Booga Queen picks up the straight-up 2v2 kill in the bot lane. Jobani Yogurt is stuck on the soil, but able to get away. And now Foe Eden dashing in onto Godzilla. Bear Trap on a rope will pull him back. I don't think he'll have the damage to kill him. Actually, he might.
He does.
Pistol.
Woo!
The kill shot comes through, and Godzilla goes down. So we asked, when will the jungler show up? None of them have been involved in any of this. It's been all just lane brawling.
Yeah,
Overall, 2-1.
I did not know they changed League to a 4v4 matchup, but that's apparently what's been going on here.
Some PvE jungling going on.
Really important teleport from Godzilla there. That was a massive wave. He could not afford to lose all of that under the tower.
Yeah, still is at a 2-level disadvantage right now, though, as Foe Eden just ding 6. Godzilla now 5, actually, so the difference is slightly more than a level, but he'll be able to catch up with this wave, as you just mentioned, him getting back in time for. And yeah, I mean, just we had a lot pop off there. Pretty much every lane. It was kind of nice of them that none of it happened at exactly the same time. They all
Oh, well.
took turns falling.
I still managed to miss the green solo kill, so my apologies to green.
Oh, that's not your fault. That's the directed camera's fault.
No, it is definitely my fault. I directed it away.
yeah.
It's my fault.
Fair enough.
I will say that I'm a little. I don't want to say disappointed because that sounds condescending, but I would have liked to have seen Burn the Heretic flash that bubble. Maybe he thought that he wasn't going to get clipped by it, but
Yeah.
I think he lives there if he hits that flash.
No, absolutely, and I don't really blame him because it did look like it was right on the edge. You know, I understand why he thought he could just walk out from under it, but really nice job by Giovanni just barely catching him. And yeah, as soon as that happened, I was glad to see Burn the Heretic not flash after that. I think at that point, you know you're dead.
Yeah, it's
Don't
true.
waste the flash at that point.
There's
But
a
yeah, you are right.
significant
the Vivian
disparity
flash.
in jungle farm here. It's very curious to see.
Yeah, that is interesting actually because I mean I guess Mixlink he had to waste a decent amount of time when he went down to the bot side of the river, tried to get that crab, but was delayed from doing so. I would imagine that that's part of the difference. Up in the top lane, Godzilla, yeah, there's a CS gap there as well, which is to be expected when you're, you know, in this matchup, but also when you get solo killed, it's going to happen as well.
Well, the beauty of Malphite is you can always do your best internal impression and just wait and press ult, and you will be a force to be reckoned with regardless of your farm.
Absolutely. Dragon started up now on the bot side. Sladen does still have Bloblets available, so he doesn't really have to worry about getting bursted down. He is getting a little bit low, but they will secure it. Burn the Heretic actually picking it up. So this push in the bot lane, it seems like Burn the Heretic and Alpha have consistently been able to shove Ooga Booga Queen and Giovanni under the turret, and that's enabled them to get up into the river and make a couple proactive plays, but still they did get 2v2 killed. So nice job by the rookies on Team Phoenix so far. Sladen actually looking for a gank. There's that stack ability to come in from so far away. Good flash from Ooga Booga Queen, or excuse me, from Giovanni Yogurt. Ooga Booga didn't even need to flash, which was good because he didn't have it. And up in the top lane, yeah, if you're Godzilla right now, I think you're just trying to avoid as many bear traps on a rope as you can, just as he gets hit by one.
The farm in the mid lane is very, very close, and I understand that you know, you were dealing with a Malzahar who farm. Oh.
Yeah, Godzilla. Ooh, I thought Foeden might go all in for
It was
that,
close.
but just chunking him down.
I think if he ran Ignite, he would have absolutely gone in on that.
Godzilla does have Flash and Ultimate available, so he can get away in multiple ways. And yeah, as you mentioned, Primidon did get solo killed, but doing a decent job hanging in there in farm. I mean, it is Malzahar. It's not exactly the most difficult champion to farm on.
This is true, but against, I mean, you just don't want to keep it as close as you can, especially against a scary-looking Zoe. And he is hitting the poke where he can, which is going to help his case, I think.
And there's the turnaround, actually, from Primidon. Don't think he quite has the damage, though. He will force Green to go back a little bit, but now that that ultimate is off cooldown, Green doesn't really have too much to worry about.
Yeah,
Foey is actually coming down. Here comes, I think we're going to get a charge here any second. Yeah, here he comes. Green's probably going to have to flash this. Nope, able to just walk away. Unfortunately, the angle was not quite good enough from Foeden. Green able to get back, but now he gets caught by Bear Trap on a rope. Sladen jumps in. They will get the kill on Green. Foeden, oh, I think he could have ran out the back of the turret, actually turned around, stayed in aggro. Meanwhile, down in the bot lane, Alpha gets taken down as Mixlink shows up. The wave catches Burn the Heretic. He has already flashed and exhausted. A 2-kill fight for Team Phoenix down in the bot lane, and they got Green in the mid lane, although Foeden did trade his life for that. So a 1,000 gold lead advantage now for Team Phoenix after all that. Godzilla getting some free time up in the top lane.
What a cross-map play that was. I don't know even where to begin to start to dissect that. As far as the roam down from the Kled, I think that was incredibly well done. Diving into the turret made sense. The Zac being there, I mean, without the scouting, that's just bad luck for them, but man. And then that bot lane, that was an amazing Nami ult. They really rode that wave and just ran him down.
Yeah, we were talking about the Nami being used for disengage, but it's been offensively. The bubble on the first kill down there, and then the wave, as you just said, that they've been using to pick up kills. Both junglers making some nice plays there to secure kills for their teams, although the one in the mid lane was a trade. But still, pretty solid job. I do think Green was a little reckless to go back in after having first avoided the Foeden ultimate.
Yeah, that was
And
a risky
I am
one.
curious. Yeah, I am curious still. I think Foeden might have been able to live at least a little bit longer if he'd run out the back of the turret instead of staying under it. Maybe still dies. Maybe Zac still chases him down eventually anyways.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it also could have been like just a pathing thing if the minion's in the way, anything like that. Who knows?
Absolutely. So taking stock right now, I mean, it's a 1,500 gold lead for Team Phoenix. I kind of expected them to have the slightly stronger early game. We've seen Green obviously doing well here in the mid lane, which again was expected. Big Paddle Star there connects onto Primidon. But the little Voidlings just harassing, and there's another ultimate. This one might actually get him. The Voidling he got him. Wow, really nice calculations there from Primidon. Green again, maybe stepping a little bit too far forward there, underestimating the damage, and Primidon didn't even have to use flash or anything for that, so just walked up on him. Foeden beating away at Godzilla, who's starting to get tanky though, has the Bramble Vest and the Bammy Cinder, but Foeden is still chipping away at him. Pocket Pistol will get a little bit more damage on the way out. Primidon gets a couple plates in the mid lane, and now Alpha's caught on a roam, has to flash the silence.
Man, they are really not giving you a chance to breathe in this one. There's a lot of action going on. The Malzahar play there in the mid lane to take care of the Zoe was exquisite. I mean, how do you stop a Zoe who can bounce all over the place and murder you with 2 spells? Well, you press R, and if she can't move, she can't kill you.
Yeah, I think Green just got a little too confident after landing that Trouble Bubble. And, you know, then he landed a pretty big Paddle Star, but after that, you know, what do you really have left? And, you know, Malzahar has much more sustained damage between those Voidlings, the E.
No, Burn the Heretic,
no!
no!
Burn the Heretic gets caught. Nice Black Shield will keep him alive for now. Huge damage from Sladen and the Piercing Arrow. They will turn this around. Burn the Heretic does drop again. Nice Trouble Bubble from Green. This is going to be a dead Mixed Link as well. What a turnaround there on a play that looked like it was going Team Phoenix's way. Gale Force come back with force, and now they're going to get this second Drake as well, I believe.
Gale Force not going quietly into the night. They are going to make sure this is a slobber knocker the whole way through. Herald up top.
Yeah, Herald is dropped. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get a hit on the tower with it, though. Must have been about to expire, but unfortunate lack of use there. Godzilla, I think he's going to have to alter flash to get away from this one. Yeah, second bear trap on a rope. Yeah, has to flash.
Yeah.
A little surprised that he flashed and didn't ult, but maybe just, you know, when you're in trouble, the first instinct is just to hit that flash button.
See, the more I think about it, this Malzahar pick into Zoe is really, really annoying for the Zoe to deal with. I mean, yes, you can Paddle Star all day, but you still have to dodge around the bugs, all the various little, you know, void bugs that the Malzahar is producing, and then that's not even counting the spell shield, you know. It's really obnoxious to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great pick into the Zoe. I believe the Zoe was picked first, so it was reactionary from Team Phoenix, and yeah, like you said, it's both the offensive abilities of Malzahar and that defensive ability that is key in just not allowing Zoe to do exactly what she wants to do.
And I do want to call attention once again to that Zac engage, and that fight was amazing to see. I did not think that was going to go the way it did, but man, they turned that around.
Yeah, it was huge that I think the Black Shield was just enough to keep Burn the Heretic from getting knocked up by that tidal wave. Yeah. Because even though he did still die, he got off a big piercing arrow onto 2 or 3 people. That did some pretty critical damage, I think. Green lands another Trouble Bubble onto Primidon. There's another big chunk, taking about half of his health with one combo, but Green also, down to about 40% health, does have Flash and Ignite available. Primidon running the teleport, so less offensive capabilities there, but does have his own Flash.
And that tower,
pushing power, yeah. Those Voidlings and the dots spreading. Meanwhile, they jump onto Jobani Yogurt. No chance. Sladen really making his presence felt in the last few minutes. Now Foeden is down here alone, gets exhausted early, and gets bound up as well. He's pretty tanky. I think he'll be fine to get out of this. Actually goes back in, looking for Burn the Heretic. And oh, it's because Mixed Link is here as well. Everybody's showing up. Primitin roams down. He's first to the play, and Green is not going to get here on time. I don't think to clean anything up. Foeden actually going right back at him. I love the confidence from Foeden there. It looked like a couple of times that could have just diffused, but Foeden, knowing his values, knowing his champion, was able to just frontline enough that his teammates could get the kills.
Someone call the police. There's been a murder. There's been several murders. And I think the most sad part about it, too, and this is not Zoe's fault, of course. Zoe can't push to the same degree Malzahar can. There's just no way. She showed up just in time to watch all of her friends die and have to flash out. It's just unfortunate to see.
That was just a huge couple of minutes for Team Phoenix there. They got 2 towers, they got 3 kills. You know, that gold lead has ballooned up to 3,500 now. And interestingly enough, the 2 turrets they got weren't even in the lanes that we kind of expected, you know, them to dominate. Foeden does still have a sizable advantage over Godzilla up here. Oh, nice Dark Binding. Catches on to Giovanni Yogurt. And Green will follow up with the Trouble Bubble.
Ooh.
Big damage, not quite enough. Actually had Ignite available. A little surprised he didn't bring that out as well. Not sure if it would have been a kill. Might have been close.
Yeah, tough to say. I mean, I think, personally, I don't play Zoe for this reason. If I see the option to go over the wall and try to kill someone, I'm going to take it, and it usually gets me killed. So a good level of restraint from Green there, I think, because maybe could have gone for it, but is it worth it? Especially having to use Flashdown Bot earlier, probably not.
Yeah, I would agree with that. At this point, you know, you are behind, and I think that you need to sort of staunch the bleeding a bit. Mixlink and Foeden will pick up the second Rift Herald. We'll see if they can use it a little more effectively than Gale Force used their first one. And one thing that Gale Force does have is the 2 Drakes. So while they're behind in gold, behind in towers, pretty much behind in every lane, at least in some way or another, they have managed to pick up those first 2 Drakes, which not only obviously puts them on track to get to Soul Point soon, but also it allows them to not have to walk into potentially dangerous situations if Team Phoenix is threatening the Drake. Sladen engage in the mid lane, they jump onto Foeden. Green and, oh, there is everybody. Foeden getting ganged up on. Mixlink is here though. Everybody showing up. My goodness, these fights are explosive. They do take down Foeden. Meanwhile, on the side, Burn the Heretic is just getting bullied in these fights. Primitin takes him down. Alpha is so low on the other side. Sladen jumps over. This fight is spread across so many little avenues. Godzilla's gonna drop as well. It's 3 for 1 right now in a play that Gale Force initiated.
That is a picture-perfect example of what I was worried about. The engage on Foeden was picture-perfect. You know, they were right on the ability to kill him, but they didn't quite have the damage to put him down quick enough, and that gave the rest of the team enough time to show up. I wonder if they're going to be able to actually punch him through that quickly or not.
Yeah, and Burn the Heretic unfortunately just got ulted right away by Primitin. Didn't really have any help with him. Was kind of wandering through a jungle avenue on his own. Got picked off easily, and as you said, the lack of damage, I think, quite apparent from there. You do see Burn the Heretic building that traditional AD carry, at least with the Keystone item first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is the right call.
Bow,
I mean, yeah, the shield bow will help him stay alive a little bit, but when there's that much damage coming out, I worry about it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little surprising to me, but I can see where he's coming from because, as we've noticed, they do just need him to stay alive in these fights. So many cooldowns were burned on Foeden too. They got the kill that they wanted, but I don't think that they expected everything to explode so much more after that initial engage. Foeden jumping in onto Godzilla here. 2 bear traps on a rope. Chunks him to about 60% of his health. Green on his way up, though. And Unstoppable Force is already available again for Godzilla, so Foeden needs to be respectful here. I'm wondering if he knows that that cooldown is already back up. Mixlink, though, Alpha roaming to the mid lane, a little bit dangerous, my friend. Yeah, is gonna get destroyed here. Yep, the dot will take him down. Burn the Heretic is here as well, but I don't know if they really have enough damage. Jumps onto Primitin, actually, but here comes Foeden. The charge is coming in. Booga Booga Queen here as well. Team Phoenix first to the roam. Primitin still alive. They can't take him down. It's 4 for nothing. Green's all alone in the mid lane. And Baron just spawned The health bars are relatively high. I'm wondering if they'll maybe take this mid turret with the Herald and then go to Baron.
I guess the
Or
question
maybe
is,
it's a little too risky at this point.
they still have the Herald. They could probably take Inhibitor here, and then they have a lot more options. I don't know how that Malzahar survived. I'm a little upset about that on behalf of Gale Force. I don't know what that man was doing. We had some dancing shoes on, but wow.
Yeah, Green is caught. Was trying to set up a tricky flank, I think, for when his teammates were back up. Nice flash.
Good
If
bubble.
he gets away from this, it'll actually be pretty impressive. And now the rest of the squad has shown up. Bowen able to get away from Alpha's Soul Shackles, I believe that was. Sladen jumping in onto Giovanni, who's been left alone here, unfortunately. And Green still just roaming around the jungle. Says, look what I found. Ooga Booga Queen just out of range of that Paddle Star, so I think everything is going to diffuse now. But a nice job from Green, actually. It looked like he might have overreached, but able to maneuver his way out and eventually set up a positive play for his team, which I think they really needed, just momentum-wise, with the way the last 5 minutes of this game have gone.
They do. I agree, and I don't really know where all he went on his adventure. He went off into the jungle and then just reappeared to take the kill. But it's quite the he's a journeyman.
Yeah, fortuitous journey as well. Still, though, 7,000 gold lead now after those turrets. Primogen, I believe, was able to take the top lane outer turret as well, while his team was pushing in the mid lane. So, very, very sizable advantage in terms of gold for Team Phoenix. They got a Drake as well, so able to stop the Drake stacking from Gale Force. Godzilla starting to get tanky enough to deal with Foeden's harass, I think, as Alpha comes in. The Soul Shackles is dropped. Can he get away? He is unstoppable, and the Dark Binding didn't connect anyways. So Foeden has to use that ult defensively, but absolutely worth it in that situation.
I don't know the last time I saw a Kled ult away from a fight. I was under the impression he was only going to go forward and fight, but discretion the better part of Valor there. He decides to just walk it out, or run it out, depending on how you look at it.
Oh, that was funny. I just realized my scoreboard hasn't been refreshing, so I thought Foeden still only had 93 CS.
Oh. Well, he has more than that.
Godzilla has gone too far up here in the top lane. He might try to ult over that wall, but I think he'll be dead anyways. I think he knows. Yeah, Ooga Booga Queen shows up to get the kill, hand it over to the 80 carry.
That was a long way to go out with no vision.
Yeah, agreed. And at that point, Sladen and Alpha was no longer in the neighborhood to lend any backup. So a little bit of a overstep, I think, from Godzilla there.
Actually,
over.
as a play, I like that as a play if Dragon was up, right? Because it draws pressure, it forces them to pay attention to you, and then you can actually go for that Dragon. But he went a bit too early, I feel, or perhaps it just wasn't synced up on the timing, and as a result, he gets picked off.
Yeah, and this could be, you know, very counterproductive to that point, because Dragon and Godzilla are going to spawn at about the exact same time, and teleport is not quite available for the Malphite yet. So I think that between that and, of course, just the gold disadvantage, Gale Force is going to have to give this one up. Big Paddle Star lands onto Foeden, but he's beefy enough.
Yeah, I didn't even dismount him.
Oh, and he's going to go right back in. He's not afraid at all. You're locked in here with me, he says, just as he misses the bear trap. But it doesn't matter. The damage is enormous. Green is gone. Sladen stuck on the wrong side of this fight. And Team Phoenix, they're confident enough to even send resources in two directions right now with Foeden and Mixling staying in the front. Looked like the rest of the team wanted to chase Sladen. He might look for a re-engage here. I don't think that would be the right call. Was charging up the slingshot for a moment, but will think better of it. Discretion, the better form of valor.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, you never want to call it too early, right? But I don't know how you deal with this.
Yeah, and he ended up getting caught and having to use Let's Bounce to get away, as well as Foeden found him in the jungle.
At this point, the Malzahar he's 3 items, he's gigantic. He hasn't even built his tier item yet, even though it's fully stacked. Yeah, that's...
damage on Alpha is just disgusting.
He used Black Shield and it was gone within a second.
They will look to re-engage here. Sladen misses the slingshot, though. Foeden misses the bear trap. Everybody's missing everything. Mixling finally lands a slow, and it does result in the floplets coming out. Giovanni Yogurt gets taken down on the backside, though. Green, another great job just sneaking behind enemy lines, picking on this Nami, wants sushi for dinner and getting well fed. 4 still alive for Team Phoenix, and they are really confident. Primitive pushing up pretty much by himself, gonna get a 1v2 kill on Godzilla with that extra damage. Green is in vision. I don't think he knows he's in vision and could be in trouble here as Ooga Booga Queen dashes forward aggressively. Sladen looking for another engage. Mixlink able to get away. There's no bloblets anymore for Sladen, so he could pop. Boeden is really low, gets the lizard back, and gets the bravery to go in on to burn the heretic. That shield bow did nothing to help him survive there. Green can't quite get the damage down onto Mixlink. And another exchange goes in favor of Team Phoenix.
Team Phoenix is just, they're so beefy now. And the fact that the Malzahar was able to basically full to zero the tanky player on the enemy team, the Malphite, that's scary.
Yeah. We were wondering if they would have enough damage to cut through him, and maybe Primitin took that personally.
Yes, the Michael Jordan meme.
Yeah, it was like a 1v2, 1v3 basically. He was not afraid of anything there. Just walked up on this Malphite. And yeah, we saw earlier, I know we were talking about it, Alpha just melting under that damage from Primitin as well. So we were talking about that matchup in the mid lane. Green has absolutely had some great plays, but Primitin has held up and then some. Mixlink and Alpha just two trains in the night there.
Well, he gets the black shield. You scared him at least.
Yeah, oh, I thought Mixlink might dash over that wall looking for the engage. This is the issue we were talking about with the lack of damage on Gale Force, though, I think. You know, I just saw Zoe and Varus are both in the mid lane, wave clearing, so I don't think the Team Phoenix needs to be afraid of anything if those two champions are not nearby. Even if they overstep, even if they're reckless, even if they make a mistake, they're not going to die.
Yeah, I don't... the Gale Force's really only option here at this point is to get a pick, and it's exceptionally hard to get into a pick into a disengaging Nami ult, into a, a Lucian that can dash, into a Malzahar with a spell shield. It's just a nightmare to try to actually pin anyone down.
And they will start up the Baron now. Ward comes down, it's deactivated, but they do have initial vision. Boeden with a nice teleport behind, though, just zoning them off, and I think the Gale Force, they're just going to have to give this up. Maybe a cheeky attempt by Alpha, but no, too late. Boeden is caught, has to flash away, and a lot of damage comes out. Sejuani ult misses, and looks like everybody's just willing to handshake and walk away at this point. If you're Gale Force, you'd love to get something off of this, but I just don't think they quite have the tools. Drake coming up in 30 seconds.
I just want to call attention quick to that Sejuani ult. It looked like it whiffed, but it was a zoning ult 100%. If that Zac had gone in on that slingshot, he would have caught that Sejuani ult in the face and probably died as soon as he landed.
Yeah, that Sejuani ult definitely was the primary reason that we didn't see anyone on either side dying in that fight, I think. Gale Force is first to this Drake, but with a 10k gold disadvantage, I think they have to be really careful about taking this fight. Boeden does not have ult yet available. Mixlink as well. It's still on cooldown. They catch onto Boeden. Nice trouble bubble. He doesn't have flash this time. He's locked down. Mixlink goes in, trying to be a bro. Sladen goes in. Oh, and they get the Malphite ult onto two members. Boeden is going to drop, but in the backline, Sladen is all alone. Godzilla's melting just from the Sejuani. Primitin on the backside just assassinated everybody on this Malzahar. So much impressive stuff from Dr. Primitin coming back into GMA events. Looks like he got his PhD since then, and it's showing.
That was disgusting. I mean, Malzahar is already a somewhat disgusting champion to deal with, but wow, when he gets rolling, there is not much you can do about it. I mean, you could make the argument that they should be building items to counteract this, but even then, like, the damage alone off of the dot and the bugs, I don't know if you can even survive it.
Yeah, it hasn't even, I mean, early on it was, but for the most part, I don't even know if it's been the ultimate, It's just the amount of damage that is coming out that is frankly unavoidable. I mean, it's point-click damage that just stays on you. There's no dispel in League of Legends, so once it's on you, it's hurting you.
Yeah, and like we saw earlier, the Black Shield helps for about half a second, and then you're right back into the fryer.
Gold lead, over 10,000 now. 3 Drakes, so soul point actually now for Team Phoenix, despite Gale Force having the early edge in Drakes. And yeah, I like this from Team Phoenix. Looks like everybody's grouping up, going for that last inner tower. Excuse me, we'll cough there.
Yeah,
And
unless there's a massive throw, it's all over but the crying here, I think. But you never know.
I think at this point you just need some hero plays from Green, and people have to keep Burn the Heretic safe. He does have 3 items now, so he's going to be able to deal some damage, but Primodan has just been able to get in on him, and you know, there's no QSS yet for Burn the Heretic. I understand why, because he was behind early, needed to get some damage, but he's pretty much at the mercy of his team peeling for him to survive these fights. That damage from Mixlink on the Sejuani, pretty impressive. Takes Godzilla down to 40%, or down to 60%. And here comes another engage. They're going under the tower, looking for Alpha. Bo Eden is just ripping through while zoning everybody else away. Eventually will back off. Godzilla was able to survive that. Primitive, maybe a little too confident that time. Just ambled into turret range. Had to flash out, but still fine for now. Green has a couple of low targets that he can potentially look for. No one's blocking for the Malzahar. They do finally get in there, but it's too late. Burn the Heretic flashes in. He trades his life, though. They do finally get that Malzahar off the map. Mixlink drops as well. Ooga Queen pretty safe in the backline. Now steps forward, though. The Bloblets, can they protect this Zac? Teleport is available for Godzilla if he wants to use it. Doesn't have to. And they stop the inhibitor take. So finally a 1 fight for Gale Force. A little bit of an overstep there, I think, from Team Phoenix. Seemed like they took, at least 3 or 4 members took about 70% of their health when they didn't necessarily need to before the fight really popped off. But still, I mean, a Nexus turret dropped from those super minions in the mid and bot lane. So overall, net positive in gold even still for Team Phoenix, despite Gale Force actually coming out ahead in kills.
Yeah, I would say that that was probably the best that Gale Force could have hoped for, all things considered. I will also say that I think you're probably right. Just biting off a little bit too much on Team Phoenix's side. As soon as that Sejuani ult hit the black shield, they probably should have called it off. But you know, the scent of blood is in the water, so they're in it to win it at this point.
I just love. I mean, I understand what happened. I assume Primodan thought someone else was still tanking the turret, but Malzahar just floated into turret range, took a couple shots, and
then flashed back out. I will say, I was very impressed by Burn the Heretic deciding to just flash into melee range, auto attack
yeah, I'm not sure if it was necessary, but you know, that Malzahar 10-1 at that time, so huge shutdown gold going over to Burn the Heretic. So I probably misspoke earlier when I said it was net positive gold for Team Phoenix there, because the shutdown would have really helped Burn the Heretic. Looks like he was able to get that QSS as well as a Vamp Scepter. So between the Shield Bow and another Vamp Scepter, he's going to have a ton of lifesteal. And there isn't... Are there any Grievous Wounds on Team Phoenix? I don't think there are.
I think Kled has some in his kit, but otherwise, yeah, I don't think there is. I will say it's a little peculiar to me that it's almost 34 minutes in now, and we just are now seeing the first QSS against a Malzahar that is running away with the game. I would have built that a little earlier, I think.
I agree that it looks strange, but also, like I was saying earlier, excuse me, Bo Eden says, we're not talking about QSS, we're going in, and we are ending this game. 3 drop immediately, Bo Eden flashing and chasing after Green. Down goes the Zoe, Burn the Heretic. QSS pop, he does manage to take down his counterpart in the bot lane, Ooga Queen, but that's all that they will get in response. Really impressive stuff here from Team Phoenix.
Absolutely, they're going to clean this up nice and easy, and take the first win of the night.
Man, that was... I don't know if I've seen a Malzahar that seemed that scary in quite a while. Oh, I got some Mystic Essence for spectating that game. That's nice. Thanks, Riot.
Take a look at the scoreboard here real quick. Advanced details. Oh, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, scoreboard's being weird for me as well.
Okay, well, we can't look at stats. Sorry about that.
I think we can assume that Primogen did a lot of damage?
Roughly at least 1 million would be my guess.
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000.
Oh, well, I've got the stats now, but I don't see who's who. Yeah, Primogen, I believe that's Primogen. Definitely leading the way in damage, 31,000. Second, coming in second, Ooga Booga Queen, understandable, but yeah, definitely one-sided in terms of the damage to champions, as to be expected given the kill count and everything.
Absolutely. I feel like, as far as an interview goes, it would make sense to pull in Premeden and his ridiculous Malzahar performance. Feel free.
Absolutely.
So, Premeden, if you're out there and listening, you're our guy.
Do we have the power to just grab him? I believe we do.
I don't know. Haven't tried.
Move to live or to interview room. Let's get him. Ha! He's in there. All right, let's jump over.
Oh no.
What's up?
I joined and heard, oh no. Congratulations on your win. That was one of the most disgusting Malzahar games I've ever seen in my entire life.
We were joking. I'm probably not gonna get to play Malzahar again.
Probably not. If you do stuff like that. So,
Well, that was one...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I got to ask the question because obviously Green is a highly ranked player, very very skilled. As soon as you saw the Zoe, was the first thing that popped into your head Malzahar, or was it a pick that you kind of had in your back pocket? What was your thought process there?
Well, so I had actually picked Malzahar before Zoe was locked in. Yeah. We knew that Green might play Zoe, and I figured that once I got around to level 3 or 4, I'd be okay. The early game was a little rough. I was the first blood there, just because Green had played so aggressive, and I just didn't have any pressure or priority in lane. But once I got closer to Leandri's and I could just auto kill the wave and walk away, it was smooth sailing.
Makes sense. So, I mentioned this early in the broadcast, but you are a returning veteran of LCUS, of our GMA community. It's good to have you back, by the way. What's it like after you've been away for years, if I'm not mistaken? What's it been like coming back into this kind of environment, playing in an organized structure again?
I mean, it was definitely a transition. The most League I've played since then has been ARAMs, or rotating game modes. So coming back and learning how to do like callouts, vision, warding, paying attention to wave management was a bit of an adjustment. So our team had been practicing a little bit over the last week and had some really good just open communication about what strategies work well for us, what are our play styles, how do we complement each other, looking into some of the other players that we're going to go up against and trying to be really strategic with it. But it felt good to come back. I was worried the Malzahar might be banned, since that was how I won a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That Malzahar in that drawing there, that's mine.
Well, you certainly displayed why you earned that, and I suspect to your guess that you probably will not get it too frequently in future weeks.
Yeah, probably not. If it does slip through, though, I can do this again.
Yeah. Take notice, GMA. You're on notice.
All right. Well, congrats on the win. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks. You too.
Alrighty, so we're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll be back with the next matchup, which I believe is Blitzkrieg versus White Wolf Gaming. Don't go anywhere.